Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depends where you are. It's a pleasure to welcome you for this presentation. I am Huram Hanif, and I will walk you through for this presentation, Kubernetes in 15 minutes. By the end of this presentation, you will have learned what Google Cloud is, what is K8s. We'll quickly touch base on this one. K8s is equivalent of Kubernetes engine. We'll deploy a sample application. We'll test that sample application, and then we'll discuss the steps behind the scenes. So first thing first, what we need to do is we'll need to get a account for Google Cloud Platform. If you don't have one, you will need to go on console.cloud.google.com and get yourself registered. You will need to enter your credit card information. Rest assured, it's just for the verification purpose, and there will be no charges on that. And there will be a few days and some credits available to you. So you should be able to play with Kubernetes without any cost. Okay, so I have logged into, I have gone through that process. I registered myself for this account, and now you can see that I have logged in into that one. It's on the console.cloud.google.com. And you can see that there are a couple of options available over here, which includes like marketplace, billing, APIs, um, and then I am an admin role, getting started, security, and all those app engines, compute engines, and Kubernetes engines. So we'll focus on only this one in this presentation because for the sake of saving time, and we'll skip all the complexities associated with all this process, and we will just be focusing on deploying our first application and then testing that application. So you can pause this video over here if you still need to create the account, and once you are over here, we'll resume from this point onwards. Okay, meanwhile you have set up your Google account. Let's talk quickly about Kubernetes or K8s. So Kubernetes is an open source container or orchestration system for automating computer application deployment. Scaling management. It was originally designed by Google and is now maintained by the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. And the acceptance of Kubernetes, is widespread now, and more or less all the large-scale projects are using Kubernetes in one form or other. Okay, at this point, what we are going to do is we are going to create a Kubernetes cluster. If you have just created an account and you have logged in into the account, what you will probably see over there's a button called Enable It. So just go ahead and press that button, and after that, we are going to take the following steps. So once that provisioning of Kubernetes engine for your account is in place, you will probably see a screen something like that. Based on when you are watching this video, Google is releasing a lot of changes. So an older video might have a different kind of UI than what we have today. So right now, what I see is when I go on the Kubernetes engine, there are clusters options. So what we will do is we'll go ahead and create a Kubernetes cluster. So I'll click the create button, and there will be two options presented for how we are going to create the cluster. So I will opt autopilot just for the simplicity, and we if you are more advanced user, you can definitely use standard one, and then you can configure your cluster. But for the sake of this presentation, we'll just keep it simple and easy. So I'll click on configure button. So now what we can see is there is another screen which will give us some options, nodes, networking, security, and so on and so forth. And then region as well. We don't need to change any of those values as of now. I will keep it as a public cluster, and we can go and look on the different networking options, but we are not going to make any change at this point. So what I will do is I will click create button, which is not visible right now. So now over here it is. So I will click this create button and we'll wait. This process will take few minutes. So what we will do is, meanwhile, I will pause it over here, let it finish its process, and we'll come back to this one. Okay, so while our Kubernetes engine is being provisioned, what we will need to do is we need to either create, or if I will try to put it as a link as well, this file. We'll need this file to actually instruct Kubernetes engine where to get the sample file and deploy it. So let's quickly review this file. You don't need to worry about this application, Spring Boot application at this point, and I will explain you what this file contains, and this should be good enough for this presentation. So this is the K8 15 minutes YAML file. You can name it whatever you would like, but just for the sake of consistency, you can keep it this way. So if you are familiar with YAML format, it's great. If not, that's fine for this particular task what we are doing. But just on the very high level, this is the API version. This is the kind like the deployment, and this is the name of this YAML deployment. And we are leaving replicas one, and this is the image basically where it will know that where to pull this. So this is in DockerHub, and this is publicly available image. So, and the container port is 8080. So these instructions will let Kubernetes engine know what to do. Okay, so let's go back to Kubernetes engine. Okay, so great. Kubernetes engine and the cluster is up and running now. We can see this green mark over here with the check sign. What we'll need to do is we'll need to connect this one. And there are a couple of options what you can do, but just keep it simple and straight. So you can click on Run in Cloud Shell. This is the shell provided by Google itself. Once here, you will press Enter button, and it will connect, and you can see this is the Linux. You can say ls -l, and you will see there is only readme available. So we will need to upload the file we just discussed over on this particular folder. So what we'll do is we'll click on this okay, let me do it again. Click on these three dots and select upload file option, and from there just select K8 15 minutes. So the file has been uploaded. You can see ls -l, and you see this file has been uploaded over here. So now following you need to execute following statements to let this cluster know what to do. Okay, so let's execute the commands, and the command is kubectl. Sorry. So the command is kubectl apply -f for file, and then we need to name K8 15 -.yaml. Press enter. So deployment is created. Let's close this for now, and let's go to workloads. Okay, so this thing takes a little bit time, so we'll wait until it's done. Okay, so after clicking refresh, we can see that this is in this is now available and up and running. So what I will need to do is to click this one, K8, to let other access your deployment, expose it to create a service. So this expose button, we need to click it. So once we click it, it's saying, okay, the port where it will be exposed is 80. So what is the target port? Remember this port 8080, that's what we will put it over here. So 8080, and service type is load balancer. Okay, we can go into detail about those ones in another video, but for now, leave it as a load balancer because that's what we want to expose it to. Okay, after a few seconds, it will take us to this screen and we can see that it's up and running. And there are some stats which are not available as of now, but if we keep this service up and running, these stats will become available. So, and again, this is the cluster name which we already saw. This is the label for our application and log. So at this point, external endpoint is the one which we are interested in. So if we'll click it, if we'll click it over here, we should see the hello coming from our application. So yeah, we can see it that hello world has been, is written from our service. So now our service is basically running as expected. So great news and congratulations. You have just deployed microservice in Kubernetes engine using Google Cloud. And I will give you now in a few minutes what was happening behind the scene and how we have accomplished this one. So stay tuned. Okay, so this diagram basically explain behind the scene. Uh, so on the local machine, developer will create the application, SpringBoot application, which will this will expose an endpoint for the REST API, which we will invoke from our test application. We already saw that part, and that will return us the hello world. Then that application was pushed using the DockerHub, which was locally installed on developer's machine to DockerHub, and the repository we already saw was from NFK 815 minutes. And then using the Google Cloud, uh, using the Google console, we created the cluster, we connected to the server and uploaded the YAML file, which in turn started the application and then we tested it. So in this presentation, we hide all the complexities about the creation of the application and putting it to Docker Hub. We focused on this part. In another presentation, I will display the basic steps how to create the application and put it to Docker Hub. So that's it for this session. Thank you for taking your time and please leave your feedback. Have a good day.